Joining me now is GB News host Darren Grimes. Darren, let's start with Keir Starmer. There seems to be a great deal of regret among Brits about electing Labor in a landslide victory. A petition calling for a new general election has gathered close to 3 million signatures in quick time. And after 5 months since he had his big win, we've got now 2/3 of Britons saying they're worse off.
Absolutely, Rita. Good to be with you. I mean, Sir Keir Starmer's fall from those heady heights of landslide victory has been absolutely catastrophic. You know, it's happened in sort of record-breaking time. Your neck would be, if this was a car running at speed, Sir Keir Starmer's neck would need some form of brace, Rita. It's been so fast. And it's down to the fact that this man is more happy with globalists across the world. We now know him as Never Here Keir because he's never here, Free Gear Keir because he accepted a load of free clothing and spectacles from a party donor, and two-tier because he put in place two-tier policing here in Britain that actually says that if your politics is on the right, well, you're in for a world of pain, Sonny Jim. And the polling guru Sir John Curtis, who is basically the closest thing we have here in Britain to Nostradamus, Rita, he was saying that actually the Uni Party has had its day. He said that it's going to be smashed and that the likes of Nigel Farage are going to be the ones that reap the spoils of Labour's assault on everyone from farmers through a 20% tax on family farms, which will lead to the breakup of farms, all part of a land grab, by the way, Rita, to actually pave over our farms.
We'll talk about farmers.
Panels.
Don't worry. We'll talk about farming, but you mentioned the predictions of the Nostradamus-like political figure, and he's got some ideas about what Nigel Farage can do, because as Keir Starmer's net popularity has plummeted, Nigel Farage has improved. He's now more popular than Keir Starmer, according to the latest Ipsos poll. In fact, his favourability rating is higher than Starmer's, 28 compared to 23, and his unfavourability rating is lower. So the question has to be asked, Darren, can Farage break the Tory-Labor duopoly?
I absolutely think he can, Rita. I think it's happening already. We're seeing in Wales, for example, where there are an awful lot of farmers, an awful lot of pensioners who are being hit by Labour's malicious assault against our the people that need help the most, help and support the most, that actually Nigel Farage is reaping the spoils of Labour's collapse in their one-time heartlands. Look, this man, he personifies globalism, right? Him and Justin Trudeau ought to go off skipping merrily into the sunset, never to be seen in frontline politics ever again, Rita, and the world will be a much brighter place. What he has done to our country in a matter of months, as you've documented on this very channel many times now, we have turned into a police state. We are not a free country. We have allowed Islamists to rule the roost. We are even seeing calls from the Labour Party today for blasphemy laws in Parliament. This is a total joke on the international stage. Elon Musk has been a better leader of the opposition than I think we could have ever asked for. But Nigel Farage will be the one within Parliament to actually beat the drum and reap the rewards from Labour's collapse, which is coming in vast numbers. I think they're going to be a one-term party in office, and that's not happened for quite some time.
And especially after that enormous victory, you would not have thought then that this would be a one-term government. But you mentioned the assault on farmers. That is one of the many reasons Labor is so unpopular. This inheritance tax on farms and other agricultural assets. There were protests even today, a tractor protest on the roads of Dover. We've seen similar protests elsewhere. And we've got groups, Darren, like Save British Farming and Fairness for Farmers saying that this inheritance tax was a hammer blow to an industry that's already on its knees. And why is Keir Starmer going after farmers in this manner?
So were Sir Keir Starmer sat in this chair right now, he'd tell you a pack of lies. So I'm going to tell you the truth, right? He says that it's there to plug the gaps in the public finances, an elusive £22 billion. Actually, they've just hiked taxes to the highest in British history, to a cost of £40 billion to the Treasury. And I say to that argument, Rita, frankly, they can pull the other one, because this is a naked assault on rural communities in order to actually have them sell their land to pave it for homes for illegal migrants and the mass migration that's coming to Britain. Hundreds of thousands coming here. And actually the fact that they want to pave it over with wind turbines and solar panels. I don't know about you, Rita, you've been to Britain. We don't get an awful lot of sun. It's about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. You know, these behemoths of steel and cement, which are nowhere near green, all whilst, Rita, the likes of China burn more coal than Sauron's Mordor. You know, Lord of the Rings, hold your horses, because if you need a set for the next Amazon special, well, I tell you what, just get yourself over to China, because they're the problem, not us. This is all a con. It's a con and a fiddle, and they're taking the British public for fools, and we're not going to fall for it. Also, they can virtue signal with this green con whilst committing suicide with the British economy. And pensioners, Rita, are feeling the price. They are shivering in their homes. And we're not going to stand for it. There are even protests happening in Wales right now, as we speak, as we record right now. Farmers are out there on the streets blocking ports from being able to actually operate. The anger out there is palpable, it's rising, and it's white hot.
It's white hot, but people need a choice. And you could argue at the last election, really, they didn't have a clear choice. You had the Tories who were given power. They won in a landslide victory the last time, and then they governed like Labor. They embraced net zero. Boris Johnson completely abandoned his principles, his conservative credentials, and here we are. Before you go, I've got an only in Germany story, hopefully only in Germany. And I've got to say, I had to read this headline twice to absorb the full magnitude. This is the headline: transgender cop who assaulted two colleagues with a penis pump after drugging them at his apartment, is elected as women's representative of his police force. Darren, what is going on in Berlin?
Oh, absolute insanity. I'm glad you corrected the Daily Mail there for their lack of, the correct sex for that individual. I mean, you couldn't make this up, Rita. It's fruitier than nutcake, frankly. Berlin, they've outdone themselves. This Judy S., a transgender officer accused of drugging and assaulting colleagues with a penis pump. I mean, it sounds like something that you would pull out of Cards Against Humanity, not actually on what is one of the world's strongest economies. But actually, the behaviour wouldn't actually look out of place in a Berlin fetish club. You know, it's quite renowned for being a bit risque, shall we say, in some parts of Berlin, and now being seen as a voice for women's issues. And they say this is progress, Rita. Pull the other one. But it's not just Berlin. I'm afraid I have to correct you on that, because we've got male-bodied officers in this country now allowed to commit searches on women. So in Britain, women's dignity is being sacrificed. Exactly. Invasive searches. They're being sacrificed at the altar of inclusivity, and we're all supposed to clap like seals. Well, I think the only thing we're going to be doing with our hands, Rita, is sticking a very firm 2 fingers up.
Darren Grimes, thanks for your time tonight.
Cheers, Rita.